My dear one, listen closely because what I am about to share tonight is not an ordinary message. Somehow, out of countless videos and endless scrolling, you stopped here. Whether you believe it was chance, curiosity, or perfect timing, something encouraged you to keep watching. Before this video ends, you may see a situation in your life from a completely different point of view. There may be someone who has been acting distant, confused, or unusually quiet, yet for some reason, they still cannot seem to completely let go of the connection. Stay with me until the end, because every part of this message builds toward something meaningful. There may be a certain person who feels much more deeply about you than they have ever admitted. They may think about you during the quiet moments of their day. They may replay your conversations in their mind and wonder about things they never had the courage to say. They may even find themselves looking for little signs from you without fully realizing they are doing it. Even so, something continues to hold them back. There is one emotional struggle they have not completely worked through. In some way, it seems connected to the way they see you. But before fear takes over or your mind begins creating painful stories, listen carefully because the truth may be very different from what you first imagine. This is not really about being perfect or living up to impossible beauty standards. It is not about trying to become the version of yourself that other people expect. Instead, it reaches much deeper than appearances. It is about what someone feels when they truly see another person. If you have ever wondered whether someone pulled away because of how you look, take a moment to reflect on that feeling. The surprising possibility is that the very thing they struggle to understand could also be one of the reasons they feel so strongly drawn toward you. This person notices details that many others simply overlook. While most people notice your smile, they may also notice the emotion hidden behind it. While others hear your laughter, they may sense the tiredness beneath it. While someone else only glances at your appearance for a moment, they find themselves paying attention to the smallest expressions, as if each one tells part of your story. That realization affects them more than they expected, because genuine feelings can be frightening when someone has spent a long time protecting their heart. There is something about your presence that encourages honesty. Without even trying, you may inspire people to think about emotions they have avoided for a long time. What catches their attention is not simply a physical feature, it is what that feature seems to express. Maybe they notice the quiet strength in your eyes after everything you have faced. Maybe they recognize the way you cover difficult emotions with confidence. Maybe they sense an insecurity you believed no one could ever see. Whatever it is, they noticed more than you realized, and it left a lasting impression on them because they were not expecting someone like you to enter their life. Perhaps they believed they were prepared only for simple conversations, temporary connections, and predictable relationships. Then you appeared, and suddenly everything felt different. Nothing seemed quite as easy or straightforward anymore. At times, they may find themselves looking at your photos longer than they intended, not because they are criticizing you, but because they are trying to understand why seeing you brings out emotions they cannot easily explain. One part of them wants to move closer. Another part becomes afraid because authenticity can feel overwhelming for someone who has spent years hiding behind emotional walls. Listen carefully, because this next thought matters. The challenge is not that you are somehow imperfect. It may be that you appear genuine in a world where many people feel pressure to hide who they really are. That kind of honesty is uncommon. In a world filled with filters, performances, carefully created images, and forced confidence, authenticity stands out. And when someone encounters genuine authenticity, it often encourages them to examine their own life more honestly. That may explain why the connection sometimes feels confusing. It may explain why they seem close one moment and distant the next. It may explain why their energy changes in ways that are difficult to understand. If you are tired of feeling like you must appear perfect just to deserve love, remember that real connection grows through honesty, not perfection. As time passes, they may slowly stop resisting the feelings they have been trying to ignore. The emotional walls they built over the years may begin to weaken little by little. Before that happens, however, there could be a small but meaningful moment between you. It might be a conversation, a shared glance, a period of silence, or an ordinary interaction that unexpectedly carries deep meaning. From the outside, it may seem insignificant, but inside, it could change the way both of you understand the connection. If that moment comes, you may finally understand why they behaved the way they did for so long. Perhaps the reason they held back was not because of you at all, but because of what they were feeling inside themselves. Maybe they feared that caring about you would bring their own insecurities to the surface. Maybe they worried that your honesty would make them face emotional wounds they had hidden for years. Maybe they sensed that someone as genuine as you could see beyond the image they showed the world. Stay with me, because each moment of this message may help you look at this situation from a different perspective. If they care about you, they may remember small details that you barely notice yourself. The way your expression changes when you're trying to hide your tears. The way your eyes look away when you feel hurt. The way your face becomes softer when someone truly understands what you're going through. Little moments like these can remain in a person's memory for much longer than expected. They may even wonder why those memories affect them so deeply, especially if they are used to keeping everything under control. Feelings rarely ask for permission. Sometimes they arrive quietly, grow over time, and leave someone unsure of what to do next. They may find themselves caught between protecting their heart and allowing themselves to be honest. One possible reason for this inner conflict is that something about you reminds them of emotions they believed they had left behind. Not because you caused those feelings, but because your presence encourages them to remember parts of themselves they thought were gone. That could explain why they sometimes become quiet, why they pause before speaking, or why they seem emotionally overwhelmed in your presence. Silence does not always mean rejection. Sometimes it reflects uncertainty, vulnerability, or the difficulty of understanding emotions that have become unexpectedly strong. As they continue reflecting on those feelings, their perspective may slowly begin to change. Their actions may become more open. Their conversations may become more sincere. They may realize that what they appreciate about you cannot easily be replaced because your presence leaves a lasting impression on them. The qualities they notice in you are not simply about appearance. They are connected to the honesty, warmth, and authenticity they experience whenever they are around you. If you have ever questioned your worth because of the way you look, remember that genuine connection is rarely built on perfection alone. Many meaningful relationships begin when someone recognizes kindness, resilience, understanding, or quiet strength in another person. Those qualities often leave a much deeper impression than outward appearances ever could. If someone keeps thinking about you, it may be because they recognize something uncommon that they cannot easily describe. Over time, the connection itself may begin to change. They may become less afraid of what they feel and more willing to understand it. Eventually, they may reach a point where they must decide whether to continue hiding behind fear or to become more honest with themselves. If that moment comes, it is likely to grow from emotional maturity rather than sudden certainty. There may also be thoughts they have never spoken aloud. Around most people, they seem calm, collected, and emotionally steady. Yet around you, they may notice their emotions becoming more complicated. They may think about small details they cannot explain. Perhaps it is the kindness in your expression, the quiet confidence you carry, or the way your face reflects genuine emotion without trying. Whatever it is, those details stay with them because they feel authentic. This kind of connection, if it exists, can feel stronger than expected. They may notice things others overlook. They may see the gentle expression behind your smile, the loneliness you try not to show, or the quiet emotions that words never fully express. These observations can feel surprisingly powerful because they move beyond simple attraction and encourage deeper understanding. There may even be moments when they try to move on. They keep themselves busy, focus on work, spend time with other people, or distract themselves with everyday life. Yet, they may still find their thoughts returning to you. If that happens, it is not necessarily because of fantasy or perfection. It may simply be because they associate you with something honest and emotionally meaningful. Many people fear rejection or distance, but sometimes an even greater fear is allowing someone to truly know them. Meeting a person who encourages that level of honesty can feel both comforting and overwhelming. It may explain why someone appears uncertain even when they genuinely value the connection. Perhaps they still remember the first time they truly noticed you. What felt like an ordinary moment to you may have stayed in their memory for unexpected reasons. They may have noticed a quiet strength, a gentle expression, or a sense of authenticity that felt familiar. Small moments sometimes create lasting impressions without either person realizing it at the time. If they seem uncertain, it may not be because they are judging your appearance. Instead, they may simply be trying to understand emotions that have become stronger than they expected. Sometimes people step back not because they care less, but because they are still learning how to handle feelings that seem unfamiliar. As time passes, they may become more comfortable expressing themselves. That change may not happen through dramatic words. It could begin with a thoughtful message, a sincere conversation, a meaningful glance, or a simple act of honesty. If that day comes, you may discover that what they appreciated most was never about looking perfect. It was about the authenticity, warmth, and emotional depth they saw in you from the very beginning. They were struggling with their own emotions inside. They were trying to protect themselves from becoming emotionally open because, deep down, they already felt that you were unlike anyone they had ever known before. Once a person reaches that realization, it is never easy to turn back. They quietly worry that you do not always see your own value. They notice how often you criticize yourself. They notice the insecurities you hide behind your smile. They notice the moments when you step away from attention because you are afraid of being misunderstood. Every time they witness those moments, their feelings grow even stronger because your imperfections make you real, and your genuine nature makes you impossible for them to forget. Stay with me, because the biggest part of this message is still ahead. Late at night, when everything around them becomes silent, one question keeps returning to their mind. What if I lose them? That single thought stays with them more than they would ever admit. Even with all their confusion, their fears, and the emotional walls they built, their heart has already formed a deep connection with you. That is why your appearance touches them so deeply. Not because there is anything wrong with it, but because it reflects an honesty they cannot ignore. You remind them that love is not about looking perfect. It is about feeling accepted and understood, and somehow you make them feel understood in ways no one else ever has. Share this with someone who has ever questioned their worth because of their appearance. The distance between you is not meant to last forever. The silence will not last forever. Even the confusion has its season. A new chapter is slowly approaching. When that moment finally arrives, this person will stop pretending your presence does not affect them. They will stop hiding behind emotional barriers. They will stop running from the connection they feel with you. Some people enter your life for only a short time, while others leave a lasting place within your heart. Whether they admit it today or much later, you have already become someone they cannot easily forget. That is something they are finding harder and harder to deny. You may not have expected to hear this message today, but the signs have become difficult to ignore. There is someone paying more attention to your silence than your words, someone acting emotionally distant while quietly becoming more attached to you as each day passes. Tonight, the reason behind their behavior begins to make more sense. Keep watching, because every moment matters. This person has done everything they could to control what they feel. They convinced themselves it was only temporary. They told themselves the connection was only in their imagination. They tried to follow logic instead of emotion. Yet every time they see you, those defenses begin to fall apart again. There is something about your appearance that reaches them on a much deeper level. It does not push them away. Instead, it draws them closer than they expected. The surprising part is that they are afraid if they fully accept how deeply you affect them, letting you go would become impossible. That is the feeling they have been trying to hide. Listen closely, because this next part is important. Every time you walk into a room, they notice it almost instantly. They no longer do it on purpose. Their eyes naturally search for you. Their emotions respond before their thoughts have time to catch up. The hardest part is that you probably have no idea any of this is happening. From the outside, they seem calm and collected, but inside they are dealing with emotions they struggle to understand. Stay with me, because what comes next adds another piece to the picture. The part of your appearance they cannot stop thinking about is closely connected to vulnerability. Maybe it is the kindness in your eyes. Maybe it is the tired look you carry after difficult days. Maybe it is the quiet sadness that sometimes hides behind your smile. Whatever it is, it awakens a strong desire within them to protect and care for you. That feeling frightens them, because caring deeply also means risking the chance of being hurt deeply. That feeling can be frightening, because caring deeply often means accepting the possibility of getting hurt. That may be why this person sometimes becomes distant without warning. It is not always because their feelings disappeared. Sometimes it is because those feelings became stronger than they expected, and they are still trying to understand them. Stay with me, because there is more to this story. There may be quiet nights when they replay your conversations over and over in their mind. Not the dramatic moments or the obvious ones, but the small moments that most people would overlook. The way you looked away while thinking, the brief change in your expression before you hid your emotions again, the way your face revealed feelings your words never fully expressed. Those little memories stay with them, and they find it difficult to forget them because they seem to reveal something genuine about you. That may be why they struggle so much. They never expected to meet someone who felt so sincere. Life may have taught them to expect temporary people, temporary attention, and temporary relationships. Then they met you, and something felt different. They noticed a quiet honesty that made them question the emotional walls they had built for years. Suddenly, protecting their heart no longer felt as simple as it once did. Keep watching, because the next part may help everything make more sense. They may catch themselves comparing other people to you without even realizing it. They try meeting new people. They keep themselves busy. They focus on everyday life. Yet something still seems to be missing. No one else creates the same feeling of comfort. No one else leaves the same lasting impression after even the shortest interaction. Deep inside, they may already recognize that truth, even if they rarely admit it to themselves. What stands out most to them may not be perfection at all. It could be your natural way of expressing yourself. Your imperfections make you feel genuine. Your emotions make you feel approachable. Your honesty makes you memorable. In a world where many people try so hard to appear perfect, your authenticity feels refreshing, comforting, and real. That may explain why they continue thinking about you, even when they try to create distance. If this message reminds you that your value is not defined by perfection, take a moment to remember that authenticity often leaves the strongest impression. Over time, this person may become more honest about what they feel. Small changes may begin to appear. Their behavior may become warmer. Their attention may become more consistent. The emotional walls they once depended on may slowly begin to come down. If that happens, many moments that once felt confusing could begin to make more sense. You may better understand why they looked at you a little longer than expected, why they sometimes became unusually quiet, why their energy seemed different around you, or why they found it difficult to completely walk away from the connection. Sometimes people struggle to explain emotions that feel deeper than they expected. Stay with me, because this story is not only about confusion, it is also about growth, understanding, and emotional honesty. Whether two people eventually grow closer or choose different paths, meaningful connections often change us in lasting ways. Some people quietly enter our lives and leave an impact that remains long after the moment has passed. Those experiences shape us, help us grow, and remind us of the value of genuine human connection. If this message spoke to you, let me know which part resonated with you the most, and subscribe for more reflections about love, personal growth, and meaningful relationships.